What's up, everybody? My name is Dustin Coyle. You are tuned into Intelligent Thoughts. This shit is episode 37, UFC 211 Breakdown. So it's been 12 days since I've had a proper episode of the show, other than the Daily Wager. Of course, I'm sorry I fucked up. Been a little bit busy, a little bit sipsy. Missed the Canelo Chavez Jr. breakdown. And I guess I'm glad I did, because that fight didn't turn out to be really what I thought would happen at all. I saw, Canelo by knockout, probably, 75%, 80% probability, 20 to 25%. Chavez by decision. That's not too different from what the odds had it. I did put a couple bucks on Chavez. I think it was plus, what was it, like 550 or something like that, 525 maybe. He obviously got just completely worked. It was a workover, as they say. One of the worst performances, literally one of the worst boxing performances I've ever seen. Probably the worst at least at that high of a level, probably the worst boxing performance I've ever bared witness to. He just had trouble. I think personally, nobody really talks about this much, but it looks like, I think in the second and the third round, Canelo hurt him. I think Canelo had him hurt in like the second and the third round, and literally on wobbly legs. I think Chavez did a pretty good job of hiding that fact. Canelo, I'm pretty sure, knew. Canelo started headhunting a little bit in that second and third round. And I think that's pretty much the reason why Chavez never really opened up after that. Like the strike count, I'm not even going to pull it up, was just massive. This is one of the worst fights I've ever seen. All three judges scored it 120 to 108, 12 rounds to 0 in favor of Canelo. Canelo jabbed the shit out of Chavez. Chavez, the bigger guy with longer arms, got out-jabbed, got the shit jabbed out of him by Canelo. Literally so hard. His eye swelled up from the jab, actually, from, I don't even know how many there were, but there were many, many. Great body shots from Canelo. I love the way he mixes up hooks to the body, hooks to the head, to uppercuts. I like that. Canelo looks fantastic. And really, a lot of people are talking shit about Julio Cesar Chavez Jr., but truthfully, and he didn't open up. He was just unwilling to really turn it into a fight. He was, turn it into a scrap where he might get KO'd. As much as that fight was a knock on Chavez, I believe it was a tip of the hat to Canelo. Chavez, remember, is 50-2. He was 50-2. Canelo is the reason Chavez fought like that. It's not that Chavez is a pussy or that Chavez is this or that dude. He got 100% outclassed by somebody who's a significantly better boxer than he is, and that was the end of it. Like, Canelo is the one who put him in that shell. It wasn't like he came in the shell, and that's why I try to lean towards. I've watched the fight twice. The second and the third round, I think he rocked him. I see some shots that, it looks like he got rocked, and he starts stumbling backwards a little bit. Not heavily, but it was noticeable. During that part, you could see Canelo really pick up the pace and really, really go for the KO there. All in all, glad it happened. Not a good fight. Did I like it? Sure. I watch every fight. I'm always watching fights. I watch the dumbest shit. I think that GSP is a fun fighter to watch. Ain't nobody like GSP. I like Ben Askren. I think Ben Askren is a fucking great fighter to watch. The most boring fighter in the history of high-level MMA. I like watching Mayweather. Boring as fuck again. I like that. I like Mayweather. So Did I like this fight? Yeah, I enjoyed it. It was good technical skill here. I liked that Canelo was playing the rope-a-dope. I love that. I don't know, what is it, like seventh round or maybe sixth round, eighth round, somewhere in the mid range there. Canelo literally just laid on the ropes and tried to bait Chavez in to throw some heavy hooks, open up the chin. Canelo probably would have put him on the mat. Fantastic performance from Canelo. Just because it's not a great barn burner or a great scrap back and forth, Canelo put on a fucking artistic performance, a pure artistic performance. I completely fucking impressed. That was probably the best I've ever seen Canelo look. Kudos to the young man. After the fight was over, Triple G, who was sitting ringside the entire time, it was obviously, pretty planned out. He comes into the ring, they do a little square off, him and Canelo. He definitely looked bigger, more so than I thought he would even, actually. I thought they were going to be pretty close there. I don't know, I think Canelo's just stocky. He's just a stocky motherfucker. Oh yeah, but they square off. They announce that they will be fighting. Let me look this up too when the card is supposed to take place. But they announce it. Triple G's next fight, Canelo's next fight, be against each other. Probably be one of the most anticipated fights in recent memory. Probably even bigger than the Ward Kovalev fight. I don't know. But probably not quite as big as the Pacquiao Mayweather fight, and probably not as big as the Klitschko Joshua fight, just because they're heavyweights. But I mean, these are like in the past 6, 7, 8 years. I mean, this is really going to be one of the most anticipated fights that we're going to see. Other things, maybe a Terrence Crawford Floyd Mayweather matchup would be great. Floyd versus Canelo was good. But I think Canelo was too young at that time to really deal with a true defensive master like Mayweather. But we're going to see how this goes down. Let me look up the day. And it's going to take place, surprise, surprise, September 16th, the Mexican Independence Day weekend, at an undisclosed location so far. If I had to pick, I'd say, probably Vegas again. Maybe Mexico, though. You never know how it's going to go. I can't really see that, actually. Probably Vegas. So that will be interesting to see that play out. We've all been looking forward to it for a while. All right, enough about boxing for now. Let's talk some UFC. This fight is going to take place tonight. Shit, the prelims are probably going to start here in a minute. May 13th in Dallas, Texas. It's going to feature a rematch of basically the two I'll give you the two headliners. It's a rematch between Miocic, the heavyweight champion of the world, and ex-heavyweight champion of the world, Junior Dos Santos. Dos Santos won the first time. We'll talk about that in a bit. And at the women's strawweight division, the champion Joanna Jędrzejczyk, and she will be defending her belt, taking on Jessica Andrade. Alrighty, before we kick into that shit, though, we're going to talk some prelims. We're only going to do half. We're actually only going to do 2 prelim fights at all. We got 5 fights on the main card, 2 on the prelims we're going to talk about. So let's get into the shit, huh? All right, at featherweight, we have Chaz Kelly taking on Jason Knight. Skelly coming off of a rear naked choke victory over Chris Grutzemacher back on February 4th of just this year. Second there. Looked really good. Before that, bring it back up. All right, before that, he had a win in September over Maximo Blanco, an Anaconda an anaconda choke where he actually choked him to sleep 19 seconds into the fight. Got a performance of the night there. His only losses are to Darren Elkins and Mirsad Bektic. Been in the UFC for a long motherfucking minute here. Damn. Out of all of his recent wins, he's got a rear naked choke, decision, TKO, rear naked choke, anaconda choke, rear naked choke. So you kind of understand what you are dealing with here. With Skelly, he is maintaining a professional record of 17 wins, 2 losses. 10 of those W's come by decision, 3 by KO. Only 4 times does he win by going to the distance, and his only losses are decision as well. Pretty impressive if you ask me. He be standing at 5'11", 73-inch reach. Pretty goddamn big for 146 pounds. That's actually huge for 146 pounds. 31 years old. And he's going to be the local guy there, fighting out of Fort Worth, Tejas. Obviously going to have a lot of support there. Jason Knight, on the other hand, a little bit of an up-and-comer, a little younger, 24 years old. Also 5'11", 71.5-inch reach for him. A little bit less, but also tall as fuck, so probably going to negate quite a bit of that, height advantage. Obviously, they're the exact same height. He's a brown belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, fighting with Alan Belcher in Mississippi. His record, 16 wins, 2 losses as well for him. What in the fuck? They have like virtually identical. Wow, it's a great fight. They have virtually identical records. He has both of his losses come by decision. He has 10 submissions as well, 2 KOs, 4 decisions for him. He's literally just 1 KO short of having the exact same record. His last fight was pretty sick. January 28th, he got the performance of the night in Denver. Submission rear naked choke over Alex Caceres. Not too fucking shabby there. Before that, 2 wins. Dan Hooker back in November, and in July he had a split decision victory over Jim Allers. Fight of the night on that one. His only loss recently came to Kawajiri. What is that? December of 2015. In the Ultimate Fighter finale, Team McGregor, Team Faber. Man, this is going to be sick. It's going to be a great fight. Let's take a look at the odds here. We are looking at -110 for each. It's dead even on the odds. Honestly, dead even stylistically. Fuck. If I have to give an edge to either of them, I guess I'll give a slight edge to Chaz Skelly, probably because of the slight reach advantage, and he's a little bit older, which in the fight game, translates to maturity. Although they do have, basically the same amount of fights, and the fact that he's fighting in his hometown, that's probably going to be the biggest difference of the entire fight. So although I'm pretty much that this is as 50-50 as a fight's going to get, I guess I take Chaz Kelly by decision. I think they both actually cancel each other out a touch, and Chaz Kelly wins the decision. Like I was just saying, probably the biggest factors in the fight is going to be the youth, 24 years old, of Jason Knight traveling. Even though in this game you travel almost all the time, but maybe you combine that with the fact that Skelly is at home, he gets to sleep in his own bed and all that, give him a slight advantage there. Alrighty, we move on to what we'd consider to be the main fight of the prelims. Really a great matchup for a preliminary card. Obviously trying to get some TV viewership on this one. Lightweight division with Eddie Alvarez and Dustin Poirier. We know who they are. Recent ex-champ, Eddie Alvarez. In fact, his last fight, he was the champion until the end of it when he fell asleep there. But we all know who that was. He got knocked out by Conor back in November. Hasn't fought since then. Lost the lightweight championship. Before that, TKO Dos Anjos in the first round. Won the championship there. Split decision over Pettis. Split decision over Gilbert Melendez. Lost to Cerrone before that by decision. Probably would beat Cerrone right now.